Forest Park special city council meeting. Today is December 20th, 7 p.m. I guess we are going to start with roll call. Let the clerk call the roll, please.
Adams. Present. Brown.
Here.
Clark. Here. Harrison.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Sylvester.
Here. Okay. Let the roll show that everyone is present. And we're going to move on to item number 2 on the agenda, presentations. And it's going to be a presentation from the city's law director, Mr. John Whitecall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations to everybody in a new position and new council people. First, I want to apologize. I couldn't make the last meeting. I had that viral respiratory infection that's going around. Thankfully, it wasn't the COVID again, but I survived and I'm here. There's some things that I thought I'd give you everybody a heads up, particularly the new council people. So I prepared this outline. I think one of the hardest concepts anybody in government has is our sunshine laws in Ohio. And that's why I started out with that. I gave you a brief handout, but if you go to David Yost's website, the Ohio Attorney General, this is actually all of the sunshine laws. I mean, it is thick, it's massive, and when I get my legal reporter every month, there's probably 10 new cases in front of the Court of Claims involving cities, counties, townships getting sued over all of this. And I'm sure if you watch the news at all, you hear about what's going on, as an example, down in the city of Cincinnati. The Gang of Five is the paraphrase for the 5 people who were emailing and texting back and forth. And so the important thing to remember is when we're dealing as a government person, that's separate and apart from your private life. So you should never use your private emails, your private texts, that type of thing, because it's going to be subjected to a public records request. So if you have 2 or 3 government-related information in your private records, you might as well put it on front of the Inquirer, because the rest of that's going to get discovered also, which includes all of your private information. So really make an effort to use what's provided to you by Forest Park, and that so that you're always working as a governmental person and not mixing it up with your private life. One example would be if you have a citizen who makes a record request of you on your private email or your private text, and you respond, that's a public record that's discoverable, which means all of your private information is also going to be discoverable. So in that situation, as I point out in my outline, if you do get a request privately, ask the person to resubmit it through the public, whatever, if it's Ms. Boyd's public information, city manager's, your own, but on the public status, stay away from the private use of your information. If you get anything from Ms. Boyd or anybody, don't reply all. Now we get into what constitutes a meeting. And a meeting is a quorum, which would be the majority of all of you. So if you get a document that everybody else gets and you hit reply all, you've just created a meeting. And whatever happens in that meeting is discoverable on a records request. That's the Gang of Five issue. 5 people trading emails and text back and forth. The court found that to be a meeting. So again, their private information got disclosed, and a lot of people got charged with crimes and what have you. So you just have to make that a very dark line in the sand that you don't cross. It's public versus private, and maintain your private information. When you get into what is public meeting, what is a public record, the courts broadly construe those terms. If there's any doubt, the requester is going to be given the benefit of that doubt because of the need for our governments to be transparent. So anything you might put down, just remember it might end up on the front page of the Inquirer. These days, civility is a huge issue, And you get a lot of council people in different cities and organizations that are saying the wrong thing, and boom, it's out there. Now everybody knows how that person feels about that person or a certain organization or whatever. So you want to be careful of anything that's on your public record. Tonight we're having a special meeting. You have to have an agenda for a special meeting, and you are required to stay on topic. You can't have one item in your agenda and then in a special meeting discuss 3 or 4. That's specific within the Ohio Revised Code, and that brings up an issue here. When we talk public records, that's the Ohio Revised Code. But we are a charter community, which means by the Constitution of the state of Ohio, we can govern ourselves. We can pass our own ordinances, resolutions, but we cannot violate the general laws of the state of Ohio. An example of that would be if we have, of course, we have our own code of ordinances for misdemeanors. And if we decide we're going to make speeding a first-degree misdemeanor and fine somebody $1,000 with a possibility of 6 months in jail, we can't do that because the state of Ohio already has that speeding is a minor misdemeanor with a maximum fine and no jail time at all. So we can't do more than what the state gives us. We can do less. As an example, if we have a certain level, say in a bidding situation where the state of Ohio says, on your bids, anything over $10,000, it would have to be advertised, and you take the lowest and best bid. We can't jack that up to $20,000. I'm sorry, we can jack it up to $20,000 because that's still in the interest of the general public, but we can't lower that $10,000 level to $5,000 because now we're violating the general laws of the state of Ohio. So Chapter 7 of the Ohio Revised Code is a book about this thick, and it has many statutes that govern municipalities, but in all the years I've been doing this, which is quite a number, very rarely do I have to go to the Revised Code. I go to our own ordinances and resolutions because that's where our power lies as a home-ruled city. Executive sessions we'll run into, and in the handout I gave you all tonight, that kind of has a brief guideline on executive sessions. There's only about 6 or 7 items that are allowed in executive session. One, personnel is one. So when we have our union contracts being discussed, we can go in executive session because that's a personnel issue. If we have a situation with one of our employees that has to be discussed privately, that can go in. Litigation, whether it's threatened or pending or completing by settlement or whatever, that can be an issue because that's typically confidential information. Settlements tend to be confidential while you're negotiating. Plus, there's an attorney-client privilege issue, so that can go into executive session. Real estate purchases and sales, obviously because of confidentiality of that can go in executive session because you don't want the public to know what you're either demanding on a price for property or offering price for property. So those are the types of items, but there's a specific procedure for us to go into executive session. It has to be during a meeting, and commissions can have executive sessions, committees can have executive sessions, but it has to be during that meeting. You, by voice vote, adjourn the meeting to go into executive session. You announce specifically what the topic is. You go into executive session, you can discuss that issue only. If it's a real estate of a certain piece of property, you're restricted to discuss that issue only. You can get a feel of if there's an affirmative attitude about the issue or if there's a negative attitude, but you can't come to a decision. You can discuss, you can ask questions, but you can't take a voice vote. You can't do anything that might indicate what our decision is. You then would come back and the mayor would reconvene the regular meeting, again by voice vote, and then during that regular meeting, whatever issue you discussed in executive session can come up and be voted on. You've just kept the discussion private because of the exclusions the law allows us to have. Those executive sessions, though, please remember they're confidential. So we can't have an executive session, say on a union contract, and then have people go out onto the street and start talking to employees who might be affected by that union contract, whatever it might be. So those meetings are confidential. They're meant to stay that way until there's a public vote, and the public vote is made and everybody knows what our decision is. I gave you another handout on ethics. It's a tricky area, but if you ever have questions, of course, there's an ethics commission. There's, in this pamphlet, you can see that there's an opportunity with the Ohio Ethics Commission to answer questions if there are significant questions to be answered. But the most general guideline is, if it feels bad, it is bad. Stay away from it. If you have yourself or a family member that's involved in a business, say we're developing a piece of property and a close friend of yours, family member, yourself might have ownership interest in that business, and we're going to be voting whether we go forward with that development and use that developer, you cannot be involved. You can't be involved in discussions. You can't be involved in any vote, and you have to just recuse yourself. That is probably the most common ethical violation, in that you get people who are using their own personal background or their personal relationships to help get somebody a contract. That happens. You think it sounds so obvious that it wouldn't happen. It happens all the time. It seems like there's complaints constantly about that. So that's why I gave you a little handout on the ethics issues here in Ohio. Under that section, I have Ohio ethics law. Remember, you have to have a quorum to have a meeting. But if you don't have a quorum, you can still discuss the issues. It's just not an official meeting because you don't have enough people to constitute a meeting as defined under the revised code. And obviously, you can't vote without a quorum. But you could still sit around. If there's 3 of you that show up because of a snowstorm, you can still sit around and discuss issues. It's just not a meeting. As far as legislation, council presents the legislation. Usually a council person, if you're in charge of a committee, you'll present, the legislation will be under your name. That's both for ordinances and resolutions. And of course, our meetings follow the Roberts Rules of Order, so that ancient document is difficult to read because it's in Old English, but that's the basics of our council meetings and how we proceed, how we vote, how we table, whether it's table for a definite time, table, an open table, whatever it might be. The reading of ordinances. Our first general law about that in our code is the ordinance has to be read in full 2 times. But there's exceptions in our code to that. We can, by vote, after we read it the first time in full, if it requires a second reading, by vote, the second reading can be waived and you read by title only. And our last exception is, and it's what we generally do, probably 85% of our legislation, Ms. Boyd, we have public posting places. Ms. Boyd posted 6 days in advance of the meeting, giving the public an ample opportunity to see that legislation, come to council meeting if they want to discuss it. But if we post it, then all full readings can be waived and we read by title only. Ordinances typically take 2 readings before we vote, with exceptions. If it's an emergency for the betterment of the community, the general welfare of the community, the safety of the community, and we declare an emergency, we can pass on 1 vote. And then, of course, our financial ordinances are passed on 1 vote. And while I hit financial offices issues, our financial office is very well regulated. As those who have been on council know, there are people, the auditor's office is in here all the time. They make recommendations for the office, finance office. There's restrictions on what banks we can use to deposit our money. Everything is set out specifically. It's heavily regulated. But council controls the purse strings. We have to have, as an example, I think you're looking at tonight, an appropriation, an annual appropriation. We amend that appropriation throughout the year, but that's where council controls the purse strings. If you want to increase the budget of a department, cut the budget of a department, and council agrees, that comes out in the appropriation ordinance, and that's how you control the purse strings. Controlling the city as far as day-to-day operations, that's the job of our city manager. By our laws here in Forest Park, our city manager is the CEO and the executive administrator of this city. So we want to avoid council people getting involved in the day-to-day operations of the city. An example would be going directly to a police officer or police chief to complain about an issue or to try to get an agreement on an issue. If that type of situation arises, we should be going to the city manager. Our ordinances specify that he is in charge of all the department heads, so he is the person we go to when we have issues that you believe are significant enough to be discussed. The discussion starts with the city manager as our CEO. That's a strong manager form of government that when the city started under the Ohio Constitution as a charter amendment, our founding fathers made that decision that we were going to be a strong city manager community as compared to some communities who are literally run by council. So we have a difference between purse strings and the day-to-day operations. The city manager also, if you have a legal opinion, the proper procedure, and this is really unwritten, it's just what we followed all these years. If you need me to answer a legal opinion, just submit it to the city manager, because he and or Ms. Boyd may say, oh, we already answered that 2 years ago, here's the response. But they also know what's going on, who needs to know what information, and that who needs to know what information. You notice I didn't say, why do they want it? Just like the public record situation, we never ask, well, why do they want that information? We're required to give that information. So our city manager cannot say, well, you know, I'm not going to give them because I don't like the reason they want that. I mean, his job is to just make sure that a properly requested request for legal opinion gets to me, and then I'll respond in writing to that. Now, if any of you, particularly new council people, if you ever have any question, my contact number's on the top of that outline. Don't hesitate to call. I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I am your law director. If anybody ever needs help working through an issue or just general guidance, you know, I'd like to present this issue. How do you think the best way to do it? Don't hesitate to call me. My phone's always available, and I do try to call everybody the same day they call me. Sovereign immunity, you know, you might have heard that term. We are actually in an insurance pool. Don, we are still in that pool, aren't we? And the way the pool works, communities that are in it, they share costs. So if we get sued for some sort of violation in federal court or state court, we turn those lawsuits in, say, even a simple car accident or police brutality, whatever it is, we turn that into the administrator of that insurance pool. They determine whether there's potential coverage. There may be a question if there's coverage, but even if there's potential coverage, they then retain their own lawyers. We typically see a lawyer by the name of Larry Barbier, and that law firm will actually defend the city in those types of lawsuits. I'm involved as an overseer, but they're actually doing all the work and heavy lifting. But that's part of why we pay premiums, which aren't cheap anymore, for that governmental issues that might be raised in court. But there is sovereign immunity. In many of the cases, when we get sued, many of those cases go away. We might settle for a nuisance amount just to cut costs, get rid of them. But a lot of them go away because of sovereign immunity. The king is sovereign. You can't sue a king. We have some exceptions in the state of Ohio, and those would be, as an example, if a police officer is in an accident and the facts of the case establish that they are driving recklessly without due regard for the safety of common negligence. If a police officer accidentally rear-ends somebody, that there's sovereign immunity for that. Same fire department, whatever it might be. But if there's an indication of reckless operation of a motor vehicle, sovereign immunity goes away. And there are a number of other exceptions. We're required to maintain our roads. And if we're put on notice of a dangerous situation in a road and we don't do anything, and 3 months later somebody has a horrific accident because of that, we're liable because we didn't respond to the complaints about the road. We left the road remain dangerous. Sidewalks are excluded from that. It's defined definitely just roadways. So that's an exception that we often have to deal with, in addition to the reckless nature of a motor vehicle. The next exception, which is broader, there's a difference between governmental activities and proprietary activities. If you think of it this way, the government is a nonprofit organization. Proprietary means we may be making money on it. We're not doing it for a government purpose. The example that often comes up, when you have a situation where you have a service, that service is like, as an example, a utility. And we're making money off that utility. We're charging fees, and the utility is improperly run or not run to governmental standards. Then there can be some exposure there. So there are limitations of sovereign immunity, but the general rule is we are sovereign immune. And that would apply also to council persons. If someone sues the entire council, that lawsuit would go to our insurance pool. The insurance pool would hire attorneys. They'd be arguing that you can't be sued because you're acting within the scope of your duties as a sitting council person, which is a governmental operation. So this is a really simple one, and it comes up often just because people don't know. You cannot vote on increasing council's salary if you're on council. All right? So if as an example, the mayor is going off, and the salary increase will not affect him because he's going off and he's not going to rerun for election, he can vote for it. But he can't vote for it if, let's say, it's on October and he's running for office in November, which means he's right now voting for it as a council person, and then there's a likelihood he gets reelected, he's a council person again. That's kind of in that area of ethics. You can't better yourself. So that's one. I've been asked that question almost seems like every other year when the issue comes up. If you receive a records request, not only tell them to please submit that to my public information, not on my private email. That should go to Ms. Boyd. She is our liaison for, what's the organization in Ohio that we have to, is it the auditor's office that follows that?
Historical Society.
Oh, and the Historical Society. And the city has to keep records of whatever is requested, what we produce, what records we have, and Ms. Boyd basically is in charge of that. The departments, if they get a request, they're to give that to Ms. Boyd. Same with all of you. If you get a request, forward it to Ms. Boyd for her official response, because she'll consult the city manager with myself. She knows the records. She knows what should be produced and what we can produce. Interestingly, we don't have to create records. If someone asks for a record, we don't have to go out and create that record. You know, we might have a collective memory of what happened in some situation, but we don't have to create a record to respond to a records request. We only have to respond with records we have. We have mayor's court. I'm the prosecutor also for mayor's court. I honestly don't know how I got roped into that, but it happened several years ago, and I remember the mayor at that time, I said, I don't do any criminal work. I do all civil work. And he said, it's easy. You'll get it in no time. So I've been doing that for, I know, more than 5 years. It feels like maybe it's been closer to 10 years. But we have the opportunity, we're considered a mayor's court. Our mayor ultimately is whose name is on the court. But we use a magistrate. Her name is Deborah Gaines. Deborah, I don't know if any of you know Deborah. She's been around a long time, juvenile work and family court. She's been a judge. And we've had her here since I've been prosecutor, so she's very well experienced. Our mayor's court handles misdemeanors. OVIs, the drunk driver situations, those go downtown to county prosecutor, as well as felonies. So the most we get up here would be like an aggravated assault, first-degree misdemeanor. We get speeding tickets, which are a minor misdemeanor, and then everything in between. So we're the first court. If someone doesn't like the decision, they can appeal the decision downtown. When they do that, it goes to the municipal court. And again, I follow that case. I then end up prosecuting that case down in municipal court. So that's our mayor's court. It's every other Thursday. Our next court's January 6th, so I believe it's the first and third Thursday of every month. We actually have mayor's court. And of course, you can always come and observe. It's not always exciting, but sometimes it's funny. Like when the guy says, I don't know why I got that ticket. I wasn't going 55 and a 25. Well, sir, how fast were you going? No more than 40. Okay. So we do have some funny situations in mayor's court. Just in general, some miscellaneous items. Union contracts, we have unions here. We have a law firm who does our union work. And as council members, you will discuss union contracts before they're approved or voted upon. Department heads, as I indicated, we have a department head for just about everything we do here in the city, whether it's stormwater or fire or police. They report to our city manager. We've already discussed finance, and then the final issue I have is civil service. As a governmental entity, the vast majority of our employees are civil servants. They have to take a test, they have to qualify, they have to get appointed. They have rules and regulations to protect the city during their probationary period, and also to protect them once they are beyond their probationary period. We have a civil service commission that reviews these cases. If we do violate someone's rights, and that goes to civil service commission, then they have a hearing process that goes through, much like zoning, planning commission, zoning department. You'll have these issues, I'm sure, during your tenure. They have those zoning laws have to be public hearings and then voted on twice. If someone's aggrieved by your decision, there's a specific way they can appeal that to the Zoning Appeals Board and ultimately to the Common Pleas Court of Hamilton County. So it's a very detailed process in our Code of Ordinances of how we deal with planning issues and zoning issues. When I first started representing the city of Forest Park, we had weekly zoning issues because we are trying to get our community zoned, and now with all the hard work of the city employees and management, we have a very formal zoning code that covers the entire city, and we have overlays, we have planned districts, and it was a lot of work over a lot of years to get to that point, because before that we were kind of hodgepodge here and there, and we'd step on somebody's toes in one zone district and they'd be aggrieved because you just 2 weeks ago let somebody else do the same thing I want to do in my district. So that's, well, as you notice, we haven't really had those issues. We've had, I'll bet you, when I first started, we probably had 5 court cases a year, and now we don't have any zoning court cases. And it's all because of the work of people here at the city. So again, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. It's just a brief overview of perhaps some of the issues that all of you will face over the next several years.
Anybody have any questions for John?
What's the
the responsibility of the council members and the mayor? What's,
You mean legislatively?
I mean, period.
Legal responsibility? Well, that's where you get, your legal responsibility is to govern in favor of your constituents. It's whatever's best for the city. Now, that's not best for everybody. You can't rule best on everybody. But, your constituents are who you represent when you're here. You present legislation, whether you favor it or not favor it. You can present legislation that's voted on. Majority rule, of course, would approve the legislation. You should, in our code, it's required that everybody vote, as an example, because you are a representative of the community, and you should vote. Whether you're a minority or a majority in the vote, you should vote, and that's specifically in our code that says there should be no abstentions. Of course, the exception that is an ethical violation. That's when you would properly abstain. But that's in general your responsibility, to govern for the betterment of the city. Okay?
Thank you.
Anybody else?
John, really quick, just a elementary explanation on what constitutes a quorum for Cincinnati. I know since they're a 9-member council, obviously 5 members, when they were having text messages that constitute a quorum. So you were saying 4 would constitute a quorum for us, but 3 council members can still have, a conversation in private or a text thread or something like that.
Yes.
They still can't discuss city business.
You're right. 3 of you could go to lunch together and discuss any government business you want. That's not a meeting. But if 4 of you went to lunch, that's a meeting. That has to be open to the public, has to be notified by the public. As an example, that's why special meetings, you have to have an agenda so the public, if they want to come to a special meeting, can, because meetings are required to be open to the public. That gang of 5, you're right, that made a quorum, 5 out of 9, and so every email and text and every phone call, those were all considered public meetings because of the fact they had a quorum when they were communicating.
And that only became subject to sunshine laws the second that they discussed business, correct?
Yes, yeah. Now, if all 7 of you go out for a holiday lunch and you don't discuss business, there has to be a discussion of public business. So if you don't, it's not a public meeting. It's a holiday party. But that's why, but remember, they broadly construe the definition of public meetings and public documents. So, if it's borderline, it'd probably be construed as a public meeting. But I think all of you, just common sense would tell you, wait a minute, there's 4 of us here, we can't be discussing this issue because it's not a public, we haven't notified it as a public meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, John. Anybody have any other questions?
All right?
John, one of the, you pointed out the magistrate and the other attorney, but one of the attorneys that we do use as well, not only our employment attorney, to help us negotiate our contracts, but we do use what I would call a development or a bond attorney as well. That's a real specialized, it's a real specialized field, and we use, right now, we use Desmore and Scholl as our bond attorney, so.
Yeah, when we have a public project, road improvements or something, we issue bonds, that bond attorney is responsible for putting together the bond documents, and then those bonds get marketed to the public. So it's almost, you can imagine, it's like getting an initial offering on a new company out to the public, or, what securities exchange require. It is very detailed. And so for all the years I've been doing this, when I have to sign that bond document that's about that thick, that I approve, I think, I hope my malpractice carrier never gets a phone call. Because I have no idea what these fellows are doing. I mean, I think, I can't remember the young lady's name that been doing our bond work. Brenda? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're brilliant. I mean, it's just, and it's a very specialized area law. I think there are only 2 firms in Cincinnati even do it. Yeah. Right?
All right, nobody has any other questions. Thank you, John.
Okay.
We need a motion to adjourn the council meeting. Is there a motion?
I move to adjourn the special council meeting.
Second.
Been moved and properly second. Can we do a voice vote on this, or do we have to do a standard roll call?
It can be a voice vote. Generally, also adjourn if there's no further business to come before the committee.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, if there's no further business, this special council meeting is adjourned. City of Forest Park, council meeting number 1387. Today is Monday, December 20th. Time is now 8 p.m. Let us start and stand with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let the clerk call the roll.
Adams,
Present.
Brown,
Here.
Clark,
Here.
Harrison,
Here.
Holt,
Here.
Moore,
Here.
Sylvester.
Okay. The roll shows that everyone is present. We're going to move to item number 2 on the agenda, the minutes. Does anybody have any adjustments or amendments to make to the minutes? Hearing none, we're going to move on to item number 3, presentations, and we're going to begin with the first presentation, our Business of the Month Award for the J.F. Berns Company. And our law director, Paul Brum, will be.
Thank you for the promotion.
Economic Development Director, I'm sorry.
That's a promotion, John.
I'm not sure.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Our December Business of the Month is the J.F. Berns Company. In addition to being an important member of our business community for dozens of years, J.F. Berns recently completed its 2021 Christmas Toy Drive to help families in need during the upcoming holiday season. Partnering with the city and several community leaders, the company gathered toys for 20 children from several different families here in Forest Park. J.F. Berns manufactures high-quality CNC lathe and bar feeding accessories to increase machine productivity. This is the point in the summary where I always talk like I know what this stuff actually is, but products include spindle liners, bar chamfering machines, bar supports, spindle stops, draw tubes, draw bars, spindle extensions, and special loaders and unloaders. The company has been in business since 1983, moving its facility to Forest Park in 1997 and building a new, impressive facility on Ashburn Drive at that time. The company invested more than $1 million in 1997 to build the 25,000 square foot building on 4 acres in the Northland Industrial Park. And I have a soft spot in my heart. This was actually one of the first projects I worked on when I came here as the Economic Development Director in '96, was working with Joe Berns and the family. So once again, another great example of a family-owned business here in Forest Park. And for all of these reasons, we're proud to recognize the company as our December Business of the Month. I don't believe anyone's here with us tonight from J.F. Berns. Just checking. I know Joe couldn't make it, but I will make sure that Joe Berns, and Senior and Junior, receive this award. And again, we're very happy to have them in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. All right, moving on to our second presentation is going to be a presentation of an Eagle Scout certificate for Andrew Booker. Is he present? All right, and I'll come over there and present this to you. On behalf of the City of Forest Park, this is a certificate of recognition presented to Andrew Rashad Booker for attaining the rank of Eagle Scout on March 14th, 2021. Just want to congratulate you. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
On to item number 3. This is going to be a proclamation for the Winton Woods Warriors. Our football team. Is the football team present? Any representatives
excuse me, Mayor, can I say something to Mr. Booker before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just like to say congratulations to my cousin for his accomplishment. So,
I'd too like to say something, and that is, Mr. Booker, in a time where so many young men of color are making other choices, you are making excellent choices, and I want to commend you for that. Not only are you a Boy Scout, but you are also growing to be a phenomenal young man. And I just want to tell you thank you. Continue on your path. Continue what you're doing. You are truly making a difference. And also to tonight, and in everything that you do, you make the world have to see other young men of color in a different light, in a positive light. So thank you for that.
Mr. Mayor, I would also like to congratulate you, Andrew, and so we're very proud of you. I know it's a lot of hard work that goes into being an Eagle Scout, so congratulations to you and the parents. We want to make sure we acknowledge the parents, so thank you very much.
And lastly, I know that I think it was some years ago we had your brother here as well that we recognized. So it runs in the family and absolutely well done. My question was, what was your project? Oh, wonderful.
Mental disabilities, so yeah.
Very nice. So tremendous.
Tremendous accomplishment. Okay, we are going to present the proclamation to the Winwoods Warriors football team for winning the Division II state championship. So I'm going to read this proclamation, so just bear with me. So the City of Forest Park proclamation, whereas the City of Forest Park Council is pleased to congratulate the Winwoods High School football team on winning the 2021 Division II state championship, and whereas on December 2nd, 2021, the Winwoods Warriors defeated Akron Archbishop Hoban 21-10 in the Division II state final, and whereas the hard work, dedication, sportsmanship, talent, and exceptional team chemistry of the Winwoods High School football team has enabled these remarkable student athletes to earn the 2021 Division II state championship title, and whereas the achievements and leadership of the Warriors football team promotes athletic and academic excellence in the Winwood School District while upholding the highest values of good sportsmanship, character, and perseverance. And whereas the accomplishment of this team is of considerable importance to the reputation of the City of Forest Park and is a tremendous reflection on them and the positive guidance of their coaches and their families. And whereas the City Council, staff, and citizens of the City of Forest Park are pleased to acknowledge and celebrate the success of the state champions. So now, therefore, I, Aaron Brown, Mayor of the City of Forest Park, do hereby proclaim Monday, December 20th, 2021, as Winwoods Warriors Football Team Day. So in the City of Forest Park, I urge all citizens to join me in recognizing and congratulating the 2021 Winwoods High School varsity football team for winning the 2021 Division II state championship. Accomplishment. Does anybody want to say any words, or any member of council?
Real quick. I appreciate you guys for having us here. Chad Murphy, I'm the head football coach. My first year as the head football coach here, obviously second year in the district. As you guys are well aware, this is a wonderful place because of the wonderful people, and especially the wonderful young people. Blessed has kind of been my chapter 44 in my 44 years of life. That blessed has been this year. But it's because of guys like this: Tyreek Spikes, team captain; Andrew Thompson, team captain; and Will Edwards, team captain. Three phenomenal young men that represent our football team and our program to the utmost. We're blessed. I'm blessed for this opportunity, and glad to do you all just to have this opportunity, truly. Thank you.
Nobody want to speak? Okay, yes.
On top of what he said, I am blessed. I also want to thank the people in the community that was there from the start and the ones that motivated us, provided things for us through the community that we didn't have, the things that we need to have now. Anybody on the council, anybody in the city, anybody in the state, anybody that supported us, we thank you. All right.
I have something to say. I'd like to congratulate you young men for what you've done as a proud alum of the high school, but when I was there, it was still Forest Park, so I'm showing my age. But that's okay. We're really proud of what you've done. Sorry couldn't make it up there to cheer you on in person, but I know me and a lot of other fans were here in the local establishments watching on TV, and just should have just heard everybody just screaming and yelling for you. So congratulations once again.
I would like to say a big congratulations to you. You guys are awesome. You were really awesome this year. Fantastic. May this be just the beginning of your future and what you're going to do. Keep doing what you're doing. Strive to be the best, and you will be. Congratulations.
On your proclamation, it says the reputation of our community. The three of you and your entire team, including your coach. Thank you so much for building the reputation of our community. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations. The community does support you. We root for you all the time, and I know my husband and I were cheering like all your games. So, but as a former executive board member of the Athletic Booster program, I'm just very proud. Spent many a times doing split the pot, and so you do have support from the community, and just keep working hard, and I wish you greatness in your future endeavors. So thank you.
And just echoing fellow council members, you all had, I'm not sure everyone even is aware just how difficult the beginning of the season was and the things that happened and fell through. And then on top of that, you had COVID, and then you had some leadership changes, and you guys just persevered. And it was looking really, kind of tumultuous. And that just speaks to the strength and the teamwork that you guys, that you've had all together. And so we appreciate you. We're so proud of you, and thank you so much. And Spikes, 153 yards, you were getting it. Oh my goodness.
Yes, Warriors, congratulations for what you've done. You've made the city of Forest Park proud. I know that the word is spreading because I heard the announcement on D.L. Hughley's radio show. He called out on the Warriors on their championship win, so congratulations to you. We thank you.
I do just want to say, I want to thank you all, Andrew, as well. You are just an inspiration. It is just really, it's always good to see young black men, doing positive work, out in the community, making us all proud. I'm an alum of Winton Woods as well, class of 2009, the best class. But I also played, football, although in America they call it soccer. So I just want to say, your accomplishment is duly noted, and you really have, all of you, and Eagle Scout is incredibly difficult to make. So I just want to let it be known here now, and it's not an official city message, but I want to do something with young black men. I want to make sure that you have an outlet to continue to be yourselves, to be safe, to be leaders like you are, and I want to start a mentorship program. So I'm only mentioning it now because I want you, the public, to hold me to task so we can get leaders like this to continue to mentor the next generation of young black males, so we can show the world that we are leaders, that we're just as special and worthy of opportunities as everyone else. So just, stay tuned, because I will be reaching out to each and every one of you so we can get a mentorship program started in this city. And I just want to thank you all for your accomplishments, and thank you for coming out for tonight. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, that concludes item number 3. So moving on to item number 4 on the agenda, this is communications from the public. So this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. So when recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name, your address, state your comments or questions, and then just for your own edification, council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription, and comments are limited to 5 minutes. So is anyone from the public who is remaining want to approach the the podium? actually, yeah, I think now would be the best time.
Yes,
So
library.
the library, member from the library, if you want to come address council and the public. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sean Davidson. I'm the branch manager of our own Forest Park branch of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. For the past couple of years, we've been in the library system. Our administration has been in the talks with the city of Forest Park of pursuing a large-scale building project as part of our facilities master plan initiative that was kicked off around 2018, I believe. And throughout the community engagement sessions, we've been able to identify some opportunities, which I think will come later through some ordinances through the council. But I did want to invite the general public to attend an additional engagement session tomorrow night. That's Tuesday, the 21st at 6 p.m. at the Forest Park branch, which is on the corner of Sharon and Waycross Road, 655 Waycross Road. We'll be able to share the exciting news in detail and get feedback from all of the public and just meet with everyone and build some excitement. So we're just very excited about the future possibility of this project, and I think when all of the details come out, you'll be blown away about what's coming to Forest Park. So I just can't say enough about it. So, and thank you to the council for your continued support of this project and just the library in general. I just wish everyone knew the extent of how much the local libraries, the Forest Park branch and the North Central branch as well, over on Hamilton, just how much they're used and how much the community supports the library here. So thank you again.
Sean, thank you for coming in. I appreciate everything that you guys have done through this process, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward tomorrow. And I agree, it's going to be a tremendous, tremendous asset for this community.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other communications from the public? All right, moving on to item number 5. This is going to be reports from council members, starting with Council Member Adams.
I have no reports to give at this time, sir.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any items. I don't have any agenda items that you would like to add. Are there any other items that you want to add to the work session? Okay.
No, sir, not at this time.
Moving on, Council Member Clark.
I have no report I have no report this evening.
Okay.
Nothing for the
Work session?
sir.
Okay, Council Member Harrison.
I have no reports at this present moment.
Okay, and no items to add to the work session? Well, when we come back from recess? Okay, and Council Member Holt.
Since this is our last meeting before the holidays, I would like to wish all of our citizens a very, very happy and safe holiday season, and look forward to working with you in the new year, 2022. Have a great holiday, everyone. Thank you.
And I don't have any items to add.
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Council Member Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also, just to kind of piggyback on Councilwoman Holt, just wishing the community happy holidays and a happy new year, and looking forward to 2022. That completes mine.
Thank you, Council Member Moore. And then Council Member Sylvester.
I have no report at this time, and no items to add.
All right, thank you. Thank you. That concludes item number 5, reports from council members. Moving on to item number 6, the mayor's report. That is mine, and I have no report as well, but I do want to piggyback off of Council Member Holt's comments. I do want to wish everyone happy holidays, however you choose to celebrate this year, but I do want to remind people that we are still in the midst of a pandemic, so continue to be safe. Social distance when necessary, wear masks, and go get, vaccinated and boosted. But once again, happy holidays, however you choose to celebrate. And that concludes my report. Moving on to item number 7, the city manager's report.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Again, this is the last meeting before the holidays. I want to wish everyone up here in the dais and everyone here in the room Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And hopefully everybody stays safe and make sure you watch out for your trees. Put water in your trees and don't fall off any ladders. So everybody stay safe, and hopefully we'll see everyone safe and secure after the first of the year. I would want to thank members of our We Thrive team from the fire department and the police department in particular. They were working at the other members of the community as well. We're soliciting donations at the Walmart this Sunday, and in order to help the victims of the tornadoes in Kentucky and in the southeast. So I want to thank our folks. It was tremendous success. They had a great time doing it, and I want to thank everyone who donated something for the cause. So remember those folks over the holidays. And again, congratulations to the Warriors football team. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and you see them out there every day after when we leave here from work out there sweating. And I'd see them walking to school with their big jugs and gallons full of water and sweating. And so they put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and I know that'll do them well into the future, that type of dedication and commitment to a cause. So remind everybody about the library. We look forward to working with them over the next year to get this thing built and up and running. And again, this is the 21st in our branch library down on Sharon. And 6 o'clock tomorrow, if you want to get more information, show up. And there'll be other times to do it as well, but this will be the first one, and you can see a little bit and express your opinion as to what you think, how best the library can serve you and your needs. So other than that, I'd be willing to answer any questions.
All right. Are there any questions for the city manager? Hearing none, moving on to the next item on the agenda, item number 8. That will be other reports, starting with our real law director, John Wyckoff.
I have no report tonight, but thank you very much, and happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays to you. Thank you, John. And moving on to the second report will be the clerk of council, Ms. Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance number 23-2021 and resolution numbers 35-2021 and 36-2021 were posted as required. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next item, that would be number 9, unfinished business. I would need a motion to amend the agenda. Council, is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda and take up at this time item E under new business.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Let the clerk call the roll on the motion to amend the agenda.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 7-0. I would need, is there going to be a motion? I would need a motion, and it has to be read in full, I believe.
So I would read the ordinance in full, and then a motion is made.
Okay.
Ordinance number 30-2021, an ordinance expressing the City of Forest Park's support for a next-gen library to be constructed within the City of Forest Park on land currently owned by the city and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a letter of interest, LOI, with the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library, also known as CHPL, which sets forth a basis on which to exchange property between the city and CHPL consistent with the basic terms and conditions contained within the attachment A, and to negotiate and execute any and all documents, including a final sales agreement consistent with the final LOI necessary to effect the final exchange of the properties described in attachment A and declaring it an emergency. Whereas the city recognizes the value and service the current library branch provides to the Forest Park community, and whereas the city desires to partner with the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library to provide a new next-gen library to continue and improve the service provided to the citizens of Forest Park and surrounding communities, and whereas the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library owns the current Forest Park Library branch library site, and the city of Forest Park, Ohio, owns various parcels of property along the Northland Boulevard, and whereas the Cincinnati and AMP Hamilton County Public Library and the city of Forest Park, Ohio, desire to enter into a transaction with respect to the exchange of properties, and whereas the parties desire to enter into a non-binding letter of intent, which when approved by both parties is an indication of the good faith intent of the parties to endeavor to agree to a definitive agreement consistent with the terms set forth within the LOI. And whereas the exchange of said real estate is necessary for the public safety, health, and welfare of the city of Forest Park, and since time is of the essence regarding the execution of the LOI and negotiation and execution of a final agreement to exchange real estate in order to ensure the final location of the new library is within the city of Forest Park, and to avoid increased costs to begin without delay the design and construction of the new library, this ordinance is declared an emergency pursuant to the Forest Park Code of Ordinances, Section 13.96. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, Section 1, that the city manager or his appointee is hereby authorized to negotiate, finalize, and execute an LOI between the city and the CHPL in conformance with the attachment A. The city manager may make changes to the LOI as contained within attachment A, which are not materially detrimental to the city and deemed by him to be in the city's best interest. And all contracts for exchange and any other agreements or documents, and perform all acts necessary for the exchange of real estate, said real estate being described in attachment A, attached hereto, and to perform all acts as the official representative of the city of Forest Park with respect of all contractual contingencies and for the actual closing and conclusion of the exchange, including but not exclusively the filing of all appropriate legal documentation, excuse me, and the appropriate county authorities for the transfer of said property. Section 2, that the city manager or his appointee is hereby authorized to negotiate, finalize, and execute a property exchange agreement containing terms and conditions in conformance with the final executed LOI, and to perform all acts as the official representative of the city of Forest Park with respect to all contractual contingencies and for the actual closing and conclusion of the exchange, including but not exclusively the filing of all appropriate legal documentation with the appropriate county authorities for the transfer of said property. Section 3, that the Director of Finance and any person with authority at the time to exercise the functions, excuse me, that office is hereby authorized to pay all expenditures necessary and customary and or required by the exchange contract to complete the exchange of the property described in attachment A. Section 4, this ordinance is deemed an emergency for the reason that this ordinance is required to be immediately effective in order to enable the city to fully execute the LOI, an exchange agreement which identifies and defines the site and therefore expedites the design and construction of the new library. and allows the library to begin their public outreach process on December 21st, 2021, immediately after passage. Wherefore, this ordinance shall be in full force and take effect immediately upon passage.
And the ordinance has been read. The ordinance has been read in full. Is there a motion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 30-2021.
Been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Well, Sally pretty much read everything, but I just want to take the time to thank Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library, the citizens of Hamilton County, including the citizens of Forest Park, Ohio, and our council members for investing in our community. We really, truly appreciate it, and we look forward to having the second largest library in Hamilton County for our neighbors, our community, and Hamilton County. Thank you. That completes my report.
And with that, I urge adoption.
Oh, and with that, I'm so excited. I urge adoption
Okay.
of ordinance number 30-2021.
All right, thank you, Councilman Moore. Let the clerk call the roll on the motion to adopt.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 7-0. Also, Sally, please amend the minutes. I had misspoke. I said this was under unfinished business, and this is an amendment to the agenda. So this should still be under the last section. All right, thank you. Now moving on to unfinished business. Item number 9, unfinished business and general orders. I need a motion to suspend the rules.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the second time by title only ordinance numbers 25-2021 and 26-2021.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on that, or can we just?
These ordinances were read in full for the first time by title only at the 12-6 council meeting.
Okay, can can this be a voice call, or this has to be a roll call?
Suspension of the rules is a roll call.
Okay, let the clerk call a roll.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. All right, motion to suspend carries. So can the clerk please read these ordinances by title only?
Ordinance number 25-2021, an ordinance approving a zone change for 15.832 acres located on Omniplex Court from BP Planned Business to IP Industrial Park.
Is there a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance number 25-2021.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
This is the former Kmart property that is now under the same ownership as the Omni Funplex. The Funplex businesses only occupy half of this, and looking to get the zoning changed on this from a BP planned business to an IP. As it is now, there can't be any other kind of business in there, but with that, I will urge adoption of ordinance number 25-2021.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let the clerk call the roll on the ordinance.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark.
Ordinance passes 7-0. Moving on to the next ordinance. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, you have to read, you still have to read it by title. Please read the, read the ordinance.
ordinance number 26-2021. An ordinance approving a zone change from R1, one-family residence, to R2, one-family residence for 35.109 acres located south of Waycross Road between John Quill Middle Drive and the Cincinnati Waterworks property.
All right, is there a motion, Councilwoman Holt?
I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 26-2021.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
This is the result of an application by Showcase Homes to rezone the remainder of the acreage behind the new homes on Waycross and Lincolnshire. The R1 and R2 districts are nearly identical. The main difference between the two is the minimum lot width and the lot sizes and the minimum floor area for the new homes. So with that, I urge adoption of ordinance number 26-2021.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Holt. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let the clerk call the roll.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark, Harrison.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number 10, new business. I would need a motion to suspend the rules. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Moore?
Yes, thank you. A motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only, ordinance number 27-21 through 29-21. These ordinances were posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Let the clerk call the roll on the motion to suspend.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark, Harrison,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
All right, motion to suspend passes. Can the clerk please read the ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 27-2021, amending annual appropriation ordinance 17-2021.
Is there any, is there a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Moore, I'm sorry.
I move to adopt ordinance number 27-2021.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this ordinance is the final amendment to the 2021 approved budget. There are several items that need to be approved by the City Council in the reappropriation. These final modifications to the 2021 approved budget includes housekeeping items to keep the city within the state of Ohio's budgetary compliance. I urge adoption.
All right, let the clerk call the roll on the ordinance.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark, Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. I will need another motion to suspend the rules. Councilwoman Holt.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolutions number 37-2021 by title only.
I second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
This resolution was posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Okay, let the clerk call the roll on the motion to suspend.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark, Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester.
Yes.
Motion passes. Will the clerk please read resolution number 37-2021 by title only?
Resolution number 37-2021, amending the resolution setting rates of pay for civil and non-civil service employees.
All right, is there a motion, Councilwoman Moore?
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 37-2021.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this is resolution authorizes the payment of all city employees' salaries as contained in the 2022 recommended budget. I urge adoption.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Moore. Let the clerk call the roll on the resolution.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark. Yes. Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7-0. Next, item number C, ordinance number 28-2021. Will the clerk read that by title only, please?
Ordinance number 28-2021, an ordinance establishing a miscellaneous fee schedule for the city of Forest Park.
All right, is there a motion, Councilwoman Moore?
Thank you. I move to adopt ordinance number 28-2021.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance establishes fees for various items and services offered throughout the city. I urge adoption.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let the clerk call the roll on the motion.
Clark. Yes. Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes. Motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item number D, ordinance number 29-2021. Will the clerk read that by title only, please?
Ordinance number 29-2021, making appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Forest Park, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022.
Is there a motion? Councilwoman Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 29-2021.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this is the 2022 Appropriation Ordinance, which will require City Council's approval. Changes have been incorporated into the 2022 recommended budget for the original amount in the 2022 tax budget. I urge adoption.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, let the clerk call the roll on the motion.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark.
All right. Motion passes 7-0. Moving on to item F, is there a motion, Council Member Harrison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to concur with the mayor's appointment of liaisons to the following boards/commissions and/or committees. Board or Committee, Human Resources Committee, appointee Harrison, Moore, and Holt. Planning Commission, Brown and Holt. Stormwater Management Utility Board, Sylvester. Beautification Commission, Adams. Charter Revision Committee, Holt. Civil Service Commission, Harrison. Economic Development Commission, Brown. Environmental Awareness Board, Clark. Parks and Recreation Commission, Sylvester. Quality of Life, Moore and Adams. Tax Review Board, Sylvester. Board of Investment, Sylvester. Hamilton County Municipal League, Don Jones. Winton Woods School Board Liaison, Moore. OKI Regional Council of Governments, Don Jones. Tax Incentive Review Commission, Brown. And Waycross Community Media, Clark.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let the clerk call the roll on the motion.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 7-0. Next item of business, item number G. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to direct the clerk of council to notify the Ohio Department of Liquor Control that the city of Forest Park does not request a hearing regarding liquor transfer request to Speedway LLC, DBA Speedway, 5211 625 Northland Boulevard, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240 for a C1, C2, and D6 permit.
Is there a second? Been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
None. Thank you.
Hearing none, let the clerk call roll on the motion.
Moore,
Yes.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark, Harrison,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item number H. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Moore?
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the department reports.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
No, there isn't. There is not.
Hearing none, let the clerk call the roll on the motion.
Sylvester,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 7-0. And that concludes all the items on our agenda. Is there any other business to come before the body?
I just wanted to make just a brief announcement. So, Mr. Mayor, you said it exactly. With the holidays coming up, please be careful and mindful of your distancing. But at our fire department, at any time, 24/7, you may call and get a rapid COVID test. And all you have to do is just go up there and grab one. So with everyone getting together, that may be necessary. We are available and here to serve you. That's it. Happy holidays.
Why you say that?
Just one other comment, that was sent out, that Christmas tree recycling drop-off program, that's happening, for all the residents, Saturday, December the 26th through Sunday, January the 9th. And ask that you remove all items from the trees. And, but that's a service that's offered, and residents can deliver their trees if they don't want them. Just want to make sure that got that out there.
All right, thank you for that, council members. Is there any other business to come before the body again? Hearing none, I need a motion to adjourn.
You don't need a motion. Well, since he insists, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Let it be known by the sound of voting aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.